Hey Central, I have a confession to make. I have a confession to make in the fact that I have no idea how to say thank you for the time away, vacation time, and sabbatical time. I have a confession to make. My confession is that I have thoroughly enjoyed last week being able to hold our newest granddaughter. You see, the day that I was to hold her was the day they shut Iowa down. That was in March. She was only going to be less than a month old. This Friday, she's 6 months old. So I really enjoyed being able to hold her a lot last week. She thinks Grandpa's pretty amazing. So I have a confession to make. My heart is filled with joy for being able to hold her a lot last week. I have a confession to make. My body is relaxed, but my mind is filled with anticipation of what's coming up, especially this fall in the ministry we have going on. I was able to read, to rest, and to relax during the sabbatical. Thank you again for that time away and the time to just refresh. And so I'm ready to get back at it. Speaking of confession, confession is amazing. And this week we are going to get back into Core 52. And this week we're going to dive into Core 23, which is the cross. It's interesting, the context of this week's core message and core verse. The context contains a confession. We're really familiar with this confession. It comes when Jesus was with the disciples up in Caesarea Philippi. And he asked them the question, who do people say that I am? And they gave all of kinds of pat answers, but then Jesus made it personal. He said, but who do you say that I am? And Peter answered, this is Matthew 16:16. Peter answered, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. We call that now the Great Confession. I believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of the living God. When we come to know who Jesus is and what he's done for us, it makes a profound difference in our life. It's called the Great Confession. But when we understand the power of the confession, it leads to a commitment. And that's what this Sunday is going to be all about, as we look at the confession that Peter makes. But then we listen to the conviction and the commission that we're given as well. So I encourage you this week, spend some time reading through Matthew 16. Start with verse 13 and read through the end of the chapter as we look at the great confession and the great challenge that's ahead of us. Looking forward to seeing you on Sunday. Love you, church.